Most likely you're watching because you're sick and tired and frustrated of annoying sales objections at the end of your sales presentation. And you're looking for a strategy to better deal with the frustrating objections you hear. If that sounds like that's your situation, then this video is perfect for you, because this bizarre little script methodology that I'm about to give you is the perfect antidote to your sales woes. And without further ado, let's jump right in and learn about how it works. So the methodology I'm talking about today is called the ASK method. So you may ask, get it, how this works. Well, let me tell you. So ASK stands for ASC. The A stands for answer the objection. The S stands for sell why they should buy it anyway. And the C stands for close the sale. Pretty simple, right? And that's the idea. You need a simple yet effective strategy to deal with no matter what kind of objections that you get. And why this definitely is, in a sense, a script, it really is more of a process. Because the strategy, the issue you hear as an agent of selling anything is that people have, issues buying. They're scared, they're anxious, they're not sure if it's for them. And you've got to be able to answer those objections with confidence, with enthusiasm, and you've got to play not only to emotion, but logic too, to get them to realize today is the day to buy, and then basically close them, to re-ask your closing statement. So the one thing about the strategy that's important, and we'll kind of give you some examples here in a minute to better conceptualize this, is that it's not something that's standalone. This is something that frustrates me with a lot of objection handling training, is that people get on stage and then they'll say, give me an objection, and then they say that they're rebuttaling it, and everybody's like wowed because this guy can do anything. Well, the reality of running a sales presentation is that typically there's an objection because of something that wasn't qualified earlier. So one of the things that you've got to do the best job doing a rebuttal of any objection is doing a greater job of pre-qualifying your client earlier. Again, if you don't overcome the issues to qualify the client from the beginning, then you're going to have to deal with them here. And many times when you qualify earlier, you hit on all the hot button issues that make the client decide to do or decide not to do what it is that you're trying to sell them. For example, in the life insurance world, if you know somebody wants to buy a policy because they're afraid if they die that this gigantic burden of death and income loss is going to be carried by their family, and that's the last thing they want, and they give you a story of their family going through this, well, that's emotional ammo, if you will, to use in the ASK strategy. So without that ammo, without that foundation, the ASK methodology we're about to go over just doesn't work as well. So point being, make sure you equally spend as much time executing the ASK objection strategy as much as you do actually pre-qualifying, because one hand washes the other in this case. Doing both well is going to make your overall sales performance that much better. So let's talk about a couple of examples where we hear about, again, there's a lot of different objections here. I've got 3 here. We're going to talk I need to think about it, I need to talk to my kids or somebody else before I buy, and it's expensive. So if a prospect asks me, I need to think about it, then I'll say in response using the ASK methodology something like this. Hey, that's fine. So that is the answer. So I say that because that lowers their defenses, right? They're expecting an argument. Well, now I'm going to sell them on why they need to buy today anyway. So I'm just going to say, hey, I totally understand. Here's why you need to do this anyway. Remember when you were talking about how your mom died and how much of a big deal that is? Well, you thinking about that doesn't change that. In fact, it gets worse. Your health may change. You may get older and it becomes more expensive. So the problem is, the bottom line, you've got to solve this problem today. You've already told me you need this. You know this is important to you. Let's go ahead and get you approved so that you have total peace of mind. So that whole phrase there is selling it. Just going back to what they told me, like we said, what we learned while pre-qualifying. And then the close is simple. Who do you want your beneficiary to be in this case? Or if you're showing multiple options, which one of these do you want to start with today? Same thing when I need to talk to my kids or attorney or tax person about it. Hey, that's a great idea and I totally understand why you would say that. But here's why you should do this anyway. Bottom line, the problem is the problem, Mrs. Prospect. If you die, this burden is left to somebody else. That's not going to change no matter if you do or don't talk to your kids, attorney or tax person, whatever the situation is. You know you need a policy. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to take this plan out because you know you need it. It fits your budget. We already talked about that. And it gets you the results that you know you need. So let's get this started. Let's take care of this and give you the peace of mind that you deserved. Which one of these three options do you want to start with today? And the last objection here is that it's too expensive. So again, here's a strategy. Hey, I'm glad you said that, and that is no problem at all. Here's what we're going to do. The good news is that we're going to step this down to a starter program instead. The last thing I want you to do is go outside of your budget and buy something today that doesn't fit. You need something that's affordable because, like we said earlier, the problem is still the problem. If you die, you're going to end up like your mom did without coverage and burden the very people you don't want to burden. So let's take care of this today. Instead of getting the $50 a month deal, let's go down to $35 a month. We can always add more later, but what we need is peace of mind and the knowledge to know that you're protected and your kids are protected. So let me write that up. And who do you want your beneficiary to be? So bottom line here, ladies and gentlemen, this is how the ask methodology works. It is kind of strange, right? I mean, it's very simple. It's not so much of a script, but you can see hopefully the pattern of how we answer those objections that we hear. We don't go into some belabored talking points and go back and forth. We just answer it and tell them why now is the best time to start anyway, despite what they said. And the thing to remember with all of this, beyond pre-qualifying ahead of time and closing with the ask strategy, is you have to have the conviction and you have to have the confidence in your belief in what you're saying is true. You have to convey that to the prospect because what their problem is they're afraid. They've got anxiety. They don't know if this decision is right for them or not. And if you show them that you're confident that it is, it makes all the difference. So I hope you enjoyed this training today. If you're interested in selling insurance and you want to see how the business works and how my agency works, go to davidduford.com/FAQ. We train agents to sell final expense, Medicare annuities, and health insurance, ACA, over the telephone or in person on a national basis. So check it out, and thanks so much for watching. Bye.